Hello, dear folks. Welcome to the show. My name is Jack Xiao. I'm on the East-West show with lots of proud, under the G&E umbrella. We're talking about Thanksgiving being in the corner, and it is a moment of celebration. To lots of people, it is a moment of a party of lots of wines, lots of crazy talks, plus good food, good people. And to me, it's a moment of once again, re-equip yourself with lots of thankfulness. So speaking of that, let me advance my wish to you, every single one of you, my dear audiences, happy Thanksgiving. So now, speaking of being a moment of being appreciative to everything you deserve or you not deserve, yet you have, I'm talking about sometime you have to dig into history to find out what was there and to find out what would be your guidances to the present, to the future. And I would like to seriously introduce a friend of mine, good friend of mine. He was here about a year ago or a year and a half ago on the show, Mr. Glenn Jiang, a famous photographer, calligrapher and a director, and also a famous writer, Mr. Glenn Jiang. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jack.
All right, good.
Glad to meet you here.
Oh, yeah, sure. And for the past half year, I know that you were in China, busy doing promotions from city to city, place to place, talking about your new release.
Yes, Lay of Memories.
This book, Lay of Memories. So that's the book we're talking about. What is so important about this book is that it's not only the book itself, but also the content of the book, which has a rich info about history between China and the United States. So that is why I bring Mr. Glenn Jiang, the author, along with his book to the show to give you a little introduction to, to just add on to our Thanksgiving. So
yes, Jack. What makes the difference of this book with other books is that this book has a long history background. It's almost 200 years. If we counting from 1815 until now, 2014, it has
199 years already.
No,
200.
200 years.
200 years. Almost 200 years. 199, yes.
Right.
All right, exactly.
But even I have did a long research up to 1700
I see.
Of the Hawaiian history.
And to my audience, I just got a autographed copy from the author. I didn't have time to read it yet, but I know according to the introduction, the short, brief introduction, I noticed something of a heavy duty. So, can you please let my audience know about your book and why you wrote it, please?
Yes, when I got to know this book is because, first of all, I'm not having any wish to write a book. And originally, I wanted to write a script for shooting a documentary for a very famous Broadway show. It's called 13 Daughters, which was on Broadway in the 1961. It's by the very famous playwright, Mr. Bob Mogun. Bob is his nickname. Actually, his name is Eaton Huha Mogun. Huha is his Hawaiian name.
I see.
As far as I know, his father and his grandfather all has the same name.
Bob is a musician, right?
He's he's a musician himself, but he mostly spent his time in Hawaii writing songs. Even today, it's #1 day of Christmas. These songs for Christmas is still sung by the people in Hawaii to celebrate the Christmas.
I see.
So the people in Hawaii are very proud of him because his song, because his musical 13 Daughters was on Broadway.
Let me clarify. We're talking about two parts. part number one, you write your book. Part number two, the book is about the stage play or musical stage play, $13. And part three being the story of the $13. Am I right?
Yes.
Part one, part two, part three.
Actually, in this book, there's two parts. The part one is the background of the musical,
The
writers,
musical, yeah.
His family. The main character is Chen A-fong.
All right.
And Chen A-fong is Bob Mogun's great-grandfather.
Let me clarify. First, you want to emphasize on the musical play, the musical, right? And the musical is about a story, historical story.
Yes,
Am I right?
actually, the book have the history of his great-grandpa as well the life of Bob Mogun. So there's two parts on the lives of two characters. One is Bob Mogun, the other is great-grandpa Chen A-fong. So before I structured this book, I wanted to write Bob Mogun only with the background of Chen A-fong.
Bob only is the musician who wrote the musical.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the musical, once again, is about the story
Of his great-grandpa.
of his great-grandpa.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So, did you get any chance to talk about the story of his great-grandpa?
Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
He told me a lot of his stories. That's what I
You met
get
with
the materials
great-grandpa,
from.
or you met with Bob?
Of course, great-grandpa passed away in 1906.
I see.
And
Okay.
Bob Mogun is in his 90s. This year,
I
he's just
see.
spent his 92nd
after all, you're talking about 200
birthday.
years.
Yes, we are talking
lived
about
that long.
100 years with his great-grandpa, Chen Fong.
Oh,
Then another decade with Bob Mogun.
Okay.
He's 93
in that case,
years old.
why don't we start with Bob's great-grandpa as
Chen
a
A-fong.
story?
Yes, that's a good idea.
That happens 200 years ago, and then we drag it over to the stage play, to the musical, and to your book.
Yes.
Can we please?
Yes,
Okay.
that's good
What
idea.
is the exact story of Bob's great-grandpa?
Well, the story is that in the 1940s, there's an opium war started. And Chen A-fong, 1840s, I'm sorry.
1940.
So Chen A-fong, as a small businessman, he
Who's
went
Chen
to...
A-fong?
Chen A-fong is, he's from Canton. Actually,
Is a man or a lady?
He's a businessman.
Businessman, okay.
Yeah, he learned English, he learned Portuguese in Macau while he was doing business or learning business in
that
Macau.
was 200 years ago.
Learning from his uncle. Yes, that was in 1830s. In the 1830s something.
Okay,
Yeah, he was born in the 1825.
I see.
So he got a chance to know the languages and he wanted to do business. And then he got a chance to be led by his uncle to Hawaii to do business.
I
That
see.
is how he started his life
I see.
in Honolulu, being
see.
a
In
businessman.
Hawaii,
There's a store selling native products of Canton. Actually, he was coming back and forth from Hawaii to Canton to deliver the foods.
I see.
And meantime, he bought a boat, so which make him more convenient to deliver all
Okay.
the
You mean
goods
Chen
he
A-fong.
needs. Chen A-fong. Yes.
All right. And then what happens next with the story, though?
Well, the story is that there is only a couple of stores over there in the 1849. There's no more than 10 stores in Honolulu, the whole Honolulu.
You mean Chinese merchandise stores or altogether stores?
Chinese merchandise.
Stores
Yeah.
for Chinese merchandise.
Yes. In 1849, there's less than 100 even Chinese people living in Honolulu.
I see.
Less than 100, and Chen A-fong was one of them.
I see.
But this guy is very smart. He did not want to be only a small businessman. He wanted to develop. He adopted some new ways, like open the racks to let the shoppers to come in to pick up the stuff they want instead of sell them things. And the second, he would deliver the stuff to the people, to the buyers.
Okay.
So make his business very successful. And then he is not satisfied only with the selling stuff in the store. He did a wholesaler. That means he gave all the stuff even shipped from Canton directly to San Francisco.
I see.
He got to know some businessmen from New York, and they have business in both East Coast and West Coast that give him a chance to do business as a wholesaler, not only as a store manager. And then he was while he's successful in doing business, he looked for a chance to buy land, which can grow sugarcane.
I see.
So he became very successful in sugarcane, the sugar business, and became the Hawaiian Prince, which means he got his kingdom of commerce in Hawaii.
Very good. Let's take a short moment out. Today we are talking about a book just released by Mr. Glenn Chiang, in which we see a story that goes back 200 years as a starting time, which altogether might indicate that the people at the bottom line from China and the United States started there going back and forth, visiting each other, or even doing trade long time ago as a tradition, as a norm. So stay with us, right back.